Chelsea Football Club made a statement on the pitch. They didn't beat Arsenal, but you know what? They said we're not that rubbish mid-table team that you all think. And all of a sudden, Aaron Ramsdale is set to replace Robert Sanchez as our number one. Kepa Arrizabalaga basically comes out and says, I am looking to stay at Real Madrid, and they are trying to sign him on a permanent. Cole Palmer comes out and speaks about his new position, the false nine, and I'm going to talk to you about the only way that role is going to work, and Poch needs to be very careful. And then we need to go through our awards. We need to talk about the key awards about this season. The best player, the best defender, the best midfielder, the best forward, the most devastating player that's shocked us, and the most improved player. And finally, you already had your input, so we're going to go through that. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Kavkas View, bratuchi. Today's video is an insightful one. It's one that we're going to get into the little details, and it's not for the casual. The casuals aren't going to like this because there's no shiny name. Oh my God, we're going to buy him. But it's a problem that all Chelsea fans are going to sit down and we're going to have an honest and responsible conversation about. But before we get to that, I need you lot on slow days like this to help me out, all right? I want 1,000 likes on this video, because when you do that, the algorithm pushes this video and everyone's happy. And also, if you're new and you made it this far, evidently you're enjoying what you're seeing. So subscribe, and let's get 100 subscribers for this video. Be one at 100. So we're gonna have to set the scene, and we're gonna have to talk about what's going on. Number one, Kepa Arrizabalaga in his press conference yesterday spoke about his future at Real Madrid, and he essentially said he's very happy. He was very respectful to Chelsea. That's the first thing I really want to put out there. He said this isn't the right time or place to talk about this. I'm only 3 months into my tenure here. At the end of the season, we can sit down and we can talk. His girlfriend or wife recently posted a goodbye picture to London. Said thank you for everything. They're not coming back. Kepa Arrizabalaga is not coming back, and now sources in Spain are saying Real Madrid are looking to sign him on a permanent. Whether this is good for Kepa as the individual, I don't care. It's good for Chelsea because I think Kepa's time at Chelsea was up. The reality is Kepa's time at Chelsea has been heavily tainted, and Kepa's time at Chelsea has built up so much bad credit that the good credit will never outweigh it. And certain fans can't see him past the nickname I gave him, Biscuit Hands, right? Biscuit Hand is never going to go away. Kepa even had periods where he was fantastic for us. But whenever he concedes one, people just remember the negatives, all right? So the reality is our time with Kepa needs to end. But now we need to talk about what happened since the weekend, where Robert Sanchez has made a massive mistake for Chelsea that essentially was the catalyst for Arsenal to get back into the game. It's the truth. I don't know why people get upset when I say that. The reality happened, and now we're linked with Aaron Ramsdale. So the reports are coming out that Aaron Ramsdale has got 2 clubs looking at him, Bayern Munich and Chelsea Football Club. And for me, I find this very, very convenient. Aaron Ramsdale at the moment is not Arsenal's number one, and they've got their own fiasco going on over there, whether it's is he good enough to start, is he good enough to not start, what is going on, who's their number one. But what I'm going to say to you is I personally don't think Ramsdale is of the caliber to be Chelsea's number one. I started this video by talking about Courtois and talking about Cech and Courtois is the standard, right? They were the world-class goalkeepers, top or creme de la creme. And the reality is, if Chelsea want to compete for trophies, they need to go get the Alisson Beckers. They need to go get the next Edisons. They need to go get a Ter Stegen, an Oblak of what he used to be, a Courtois, top caliber goalkeeper. But the reality is, Chelsea at the moment aren't trying to get that. The Mike Maignan going for Ramsdale for me is a stopgap. It's another Sanchez. And whilst I think Sanchez is getting now a lot of criticism that's unwarranted, because people are saying he's useless. I don't think he's useless. Sanchez is a very good collector of crosses. Sanchez is very, very good at long shot saves because he's so tall. His ability to save it is amazing. Sanchez is decent at making himself big and making himself an option to pass the ball and receive it. The problem with Sanchez becomes is when Sanchez is asked to play out the back, Sanchez is not that good. And then more importantly, I think Sanchez one-on-one sucks. Like, that is the weakest area of his game that no one wants to talk about. I think he's always left lacking. He's positionally just not working. And that's just the reality of what we signed. We signed a £23 million goalkeeper. What did you not expect? So we are going to have peaks and troughs with him, and we're going to have to be just accepting of it. We're going to get frustrated, and after games, I'm going to rant, you're going to rant. But it's because we have standards of Cech and Courtois. So that's the honest truth. But what I don't like at this moment in time, I don't like this whole new narrative that Goalkeepers need to know how to play out the back. Every team needs to play out the back. Because if you don't play out the back, you're not a proper team. You don't play football. And I think this is not. Like, let's be honest. Let's be perfectly honest here. Yesterday, if any of you watched the Spurs game, Calvin Bassey cost his team 3 points. He cost his team a point. Fulham literally handed Spurs the 3 points and said, you know what, we're going to try to play out the back, make mistakes, boom, goal. Sanchez tries to play out the back, boom, goal. There are times you play out the back and there are times you don't. Players need to be a little bit smart. Sometimes when the press is that intense, get rid of it. And the reality is players don't do that and it costs them in the long run. That's just my personal opinion. What we need to talk about now is the Cole Palmer and his new position. Because Cole Palmer after the game spoke that Mauricio Pochettino told him he's going to be the new false nine for that game. I don't know whether that's going to happen in the long run, but he's going to play a little bit off to the right-hand side, almost making a 6 in the midfield. But I found that very interesting. And whilst people are like, no, that's the way we need to go, I think that's not smart. I think you need a vocal, and I'm really big on that, purely based on the fact that Sterling and Mudryk aren't going to get you the numbers where that's okay. You don't have Mane and Salah. You don't have 38 goals on the wings combined. Mudryk will get you around about 7, 8. Sterling will get you 12, 13 in the league. That's not 38. That's not 35 even, right? It's far off. So then we need the midfield to chip in. Enzo's not a goal scorer. Caicedo's never been a goal scorer. Conor Gallagher was a goal scorer. He's not a goal scorer. And Palmer is not a prolific goal scorer that's proven at this level. So all of a sudden, we're just creating more problems. I think if you have a number 9 who can chip in with 8 to 10, in Jackson, and then you have Sterling and Mudryk, and all of a sudden you get 30 from there, you get 7 more, it's 37, and then everyone else chips in a little bit, and it's like, okay, cool, we are moving on. So I think we need to be a little bit calmer, relaxed about what we're doing with Palmer. I get the hype, I get the excitement, I call him Baby Madison. The reality is we need to be patient and we can't put unrealistic expectations on him. It's just not. So I've got this community page on our YouTube channel where I basically put up, what's it called, nice questions for you guys to answer. It's like additional content. It's almost like Twitter or X as they like to call it. It's just a platform where you lot can give me your opinion. And the reality is, so I put up there, who's been Chelsea's best player this year? I think it's been Raheem Sterling. I think Raheem Sterling's got the most goals. I think he's had the most man of the match performances. He's had the biggest impacts, right, so far. People might disagree. Conor Gallagher's a very good shout for a few people. I think Enzo's been good as well. But there hasn't been anyone that said, you know what, this is mine. So anyone you say, I kind of get it, like at this moment in time. For me, it's been Raheem Sterling. The best defender, I think Malo Gusto. Outside of the red card, I think Gusto's been fantastic. Gusto, for a 19-year-old to come into the club, Reece James to get injured, and for him to take over and be absolutely just unequivocally ready for this level of football. Like for me, it's been Gusto. Midfielder, I think it's a toss of a coin between Cole Palmer and Conor Gallagher. I think Cole Palmer's come in and really been the X factor that I thought Carney Chukwuemeka was going to be before his injury. The ability to be in the half spaces, the ability to set a pass through, the ability to pick up the ball and run. And Gallagher, the other way. In the big games, he is our X factor. I'm going to call him Ji-Sung Park, right? The English Ji-Sung Park. Because he's literally non-stop running. He sets an intensity and he sets a precedent of how we're going to play. And for me, big games, I love it. The little games, I think he's going to struggle because of his deficiencies. People want to pretend they don't exist because that's what's cool. And now he's the in-trend player to back. But I think Gallagher has got a role at Chelsea football. And people don't like that I say a role and not the role. I think he has a role. And his role is come off the bench when we need him or start the big games where we need to be a little bit more compact and he needs to set a tone, a tempo. Those games are like Arsenal away, Arsenal at home, Liverpool, City, somewhere where he needs to set a precedent. And then I think we've got a great player on our hand. So I'm going to say Cole Palmer's been our best midfielder. You lot can say Gallagher. You lot can say Enzo. You lot can say whoever you want. And is respectful. Well, we all have different opinions. The attacker, Raheem Sterling. It has to be Raheem. If he's been our best player, Raheem has to be our best at this moment attacker, right? He's the only one that's been consistent. Most improved. I think Mikhailo Mudryk has been our most improved player. I can't lie to you. And I'm going to explain why. Mudryk was unplayable in certain aspects. He's just been tactically ill-disciplined, not good enough to play 60, 70 minutes. And now all of a sudden, he's a player that starts, and when he comes off, you're like, you see, we're losing the defensive end of his game. And that is amazing. Like, the fact that he's developed so quickly, I love it. And finally, the most devastating player. And when I say devastating, I don't mean this in a negative way. I meant this in a positive. Like, someone that's been topsy-turvy, like good, bad, good, bad. His performances have made a good mark. I think Gallagher has been very good. And I'm even going to go as far as saying he's been our most devastating player. And some performances come in my head. Fulham, Burnley, Arsenal, Liverpool. Like, games where he's really stepped up and been counted. And I respect him for that. Like, I think he's really done a good job. I think Enzo as well, he's had good games, but Enzo's had a few bad games. And it's like Gallagher, but I got higher expectations for Enzo. So I just feel like maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him, but I just think Enzo is a better player than him. So I'm going to expect more from you, big man. That's just the honest truth. But guys, this was the Kavkas View. News was a little bit quiet, so I thought I'd make this a little bit more interactive. So in the comments below, let me know your criteria for all of those lists. And yeah, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Peace out, I'm out. If you lot want more content, hit me up on Twitter. Not Twitter, TikTok. That's in the pinned comment below. That's the best place where you're going to find quick, short, snappy content. Peace out, I'm out. Bye.